welcome back. We're right here again with AWS On Air live at reInvent, bringing you all of the new launches, all of your favorite partners, startups, code corners, game days, all the things that you care to see. I'm Am Grabelny, a developer advocate here at AWS, joined by my co-host, Steve Roberts.
Steve Roberts, developer advocate for .NET and PowerShell.
And we've got a new friend.
Still wondering what his demo did wrong, but we'll fix it. Yeah, we're joined by June. Welcome.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
All right, so my name is Jun Won, and I'm a senior product manager from the SageMaker JumpStart team. And I'm here today to talk about our product, JumpStart, as well as its new exciting feature that allows customers to share their own machine learning content with other customers within their organization. So thanks a lot for having me here.
Oh, yeah, we're happy you're here, June. Really excited to talk SageMaker. That was going to be my first question, just to set things up for our audience who may be unfamiliar with SageMaker in general. SageMaker has blossomed into a larger catalog of many features, many services. So could you give us just a quick overview of what SageMaker is out there to help developers do?
Yeah, SageMaker is a machine learning platform that basically helps developers to build their machine learning models as well as infrastructure by providing features that basically customers can call, like APIs and things like that, so that they can collect data and train, so that they can eventually push that into the production, so that they can have ongoing inferencing activity happening without necessarily building everything from scratch.
It's at all cycles of development for getting a machine learning model out into production and making inference. I've watched all the services roll out for SageMaker. It's been incredible, and the pace, too, at which they've come out is amazing, too. So where does JumpStart fit in?
One thing about the ML industry is that it has been growing so fast over the last 2 years.
No kidding.
Every single day there's something new coming out. And because there are just so many contents that are out there, what SageMaker JumpStart helps is it's basically a machine learning hub for SageMaker that allows customers to have access to more than 400 built-in contents that will help customers build their machine learning projects faster. So even if you are new to ML, there are tons of contents. Even if you are experts, there are definitely things that will help you get going.
Right. So this is not just SageMaker's helping people who don't have machine learning experience getting to machine learning. Now we're actually adding on the ability to really extend that with JumpStart.
Definitely. So when I say contents, these are basically built-in algorithms, pre-trained models, and end-to-end solution templates that are going to be helpful for the developers to build their machine learning projects.
So you mentioned sharing earlier on. So where does the sharing part come in?
Yeah, so traditionally what we have been offering, so these 400 contents are something that are based on publicly available resources, and we package them to make sure that those are compatible with SageMaker. But however, as our customers grew their knowledge and usage in machine learning, what they realized is that a lot of their use cases are transferable, and knowledges are transferable among them. So for example, maybe they started with one team, but now because they are so large, they have 2 to 3 teams. And every time they spin up a new project, they don't want to necessarily start from scratch. Therefore, they wanted to say, hey, team 1, can you share your models to team 2 and 3 so that they can, they don't need to start from the scratch. So that's where the demand of sharing capability has arrived.
So this is extending sharing. Like as an ex-developer, I would build libraries and then share them with my org of common functions, etc. This is kind of extending that concept to machine learning.
Same thing happened in regular coding, and same thing happens in spreadsheets and presentations.
Macros,
Exactly. It's exactly the same concept in machine learning.
So June, I think we've all seen something. If you weren't already a practitioner of machine learning, I know I have at least, seen something that piqued our interest, right? For me, it was Dolly, for example, right? The first time I saw Dolly, it was amazing. You type in, you get a picture. And approaching ML, though, even though it piqued my interest, it's a lot, right? There's a lot to learn. So this sounds amazing to jump in and get started, not having to train your own model, being able to select. Are these only models, algorithms that AWS has developed, or are we offering other contents?
Yeah, so the contents that we have have been providing before are all based on the publicly available models.
Okay.
There isn't anything that we necessarily developed, it's all publicly available one. So until today, the industry has been driven by a lot of the public sources, and we basically made sure that those are compatible within the SageMaker environment.
Nice, very nice.
Right.
Cool.
So you mentioned public there. So can I, if I'm a customer, can I share models that were created outside of SageMaker?
You can
Is that possible?
definitely bring in the models that
Okay.
are developed outside of the SageMaker into
SageMaker?
the SageMaker JumpStart hub as well,
Right.
so that your people in your organization can use that specific model. Now, the models that you can find out there in the public hubs or sources, they're not always readily usable within the SageMaker. So there's always some type of work that required from the customer's perspective to make that happen.
Or at least gets you started
Right, exactly.
quickly. Okay.
Now, obviously there's other methods for sharing models. You could just drop it in an S3 bucket, right, and share access. What does JumpStart add on top of me just trying to figure out how to share? Why should I use JumpStart within my organization?
Yeah, definitely. So I think there are two reasons. One is we make the entire sharing and consumption experience so easy. What that means is with just a couple of clicks of button, I can publish my content that I've developed in SageMaker to the hub. And from my team members or others within the organization's perspective, they can just discover through UI or APIs that we provide, and it's really easy to then take it into their own environment and then start using. Now, from the organization or company's perspective, it also provides visibility into what their assets are and how their users are using them to make sure that they have control over what's being shared and what's being used.
Oh, so if my models are particularly sensitive, you're saying that people outside of my company can't necessarily see those models.
Yep.
Okay.
Very nice, very nice. June, did you bring a demo with you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's a lot easier to just show than
Yeah.
by speaking. So
Okay.
We like demos on AWS On Air.
yes, definitely.
We do. Let's see if we get that brought up now. Okay, there we go.
All right. So just to make sure that I make this clear, so all of our contents are accessible purely through API. What that means is customers can download the SageMaker SDK, and using our documentation, they can just access everything through API.
Right.
But we also provide this UI experience within the SageMaker Studio. So I'm going to walk through the SageMaker Studio experience.
Okay.
So here's a new look of the SageMaker Studio. And here we have 3 entry points. One is the Quick Start Solution launch card at the top, or in the center. And then there's a carousel that showcases some of the highlighted contents on the carousel as well, so customers can just click on these as well. Or on the left navigation, there's a Quick Start Solution tab, and in there, there's a solutions, models, and example notebooks that customers can just click on. So I'll access through this point. And this is the landing page of our catalog experience. Here, all of our contents are categorized based on their content type, whether it's solution, models, and they're also categorized into machine learning tasks. So if it's image classification, image embedding, those are all classified into each of the carousels. Now let's say I am interested in image classification model. If I click on this model, and I'll land on this detail page of that model specifically, and I'll see that there are descriptions of what this model does and how customers can further train for their own purpose and stuff like that. And if you scroll up, there's a button to deploy as well as train. Now, this is an easy way for customers to just start deploying and train without writing any code.
So they're taking the model from the publicly shared model?
So we've already done that. So these are actually living in our repository.
So they've been effectively copied
yes,
into our
exactly.
repository. Okay.
And when customers pull these models from our repository, they also come with training scripts as well as inferencing scripts that we have tested and built so that customers don't need to build anything to make it work on the SageMaker.
Now, when a customer uploads a model to the hub, right, where is it stored?
It is all stored within their customer's account. So
Okay.
these public models that we curate and we offer, they reside in our environment. but as soon as customer adds their content in it, it all lives in their environment. So we don't get to see any of the contents or proprietary contents that are in there. You own all that model. Everything that you do is something that you are in charge of.
And then they obviously have full control over
Yes.
with whom it's shared.
Yep, exactly. So customers can also get into a notebook environment where they can see all the examples on how they can deploy or further train using APIs, because a lot of our customers are heavy scientists customers, and they prefer using notebook. And a lot of customers start from here and then modify for their purpose or copy paste into their own environment to make it happen. Now let's assume that we created a nice training job that is very well performing. You can actually find those training jobs in the launch dataset here. And let's see this model. Now let's say I want to share this model with other users within my organization. There's a little share button at the top right,
Yeah.
where if customer clicks, it opens up the form and it pre-populates all the necessary fields based on the model that I just clicked. And I just need to type in the title and description and press add model. Then it will open up a shared environment screen. And after some loading, now it's added to the environment. Now, as soon as this model shows up in this page, any other users within my organization will be able to also view that at the top.
Okay. And when you said added to the environment, what exactly do you mean by that?
So,
Is what we're seeing now, like the environment that all the users inside the organization can see?
so that means the model that all the artifacts and files that are required for the model are now copied over to the the user's shared kind of environment within their account.
Gotcha.
And anyone in that account will be able to have access to this model. And of course, like I said, anyone who's outside of your AWS, they won't be able to access this. And from this point on, other team members can just click on this model and basically do the same thing. They can train with their own data or deploy into an endpoint so that they can start using this. This is really easy way for our customers to share and discover. And from, like I said, from the company perspective, now you know who actually uploaded this content, and they can also say, hey, this is the model that we're going to use for image classification from now on, so they can actually start managing the standardization process as well. Because I added this model, I can also click on this 3 dot here and either update the model information or delete the model as well.
So if I update the model here, if somebody else in my organization is using that shared model, do they see that update, or do they need to do something to pull that update down?
I see. So every time there's a update, the user also needs to actually start a new job.
Okay.
So every time somebody creates a new training job off of this model that we have shared, it's actually creating a copy to this new user, so that the one that's in the JumpStart is more of a golden copy. That's like the original copy. And then the scientist who uses that one is working off of a new copy that's copied from this golden version.
So as a developer, if I clone a source code repository, I have to pull the updates down. It's not automatic.
Yep. And of course, you can contribute back to the model by just doing following the same process that I shared.
Now, June, I don't know if we've covered this yet, and I apologize if we have. We talked a lot about sharing within like a customer's organization. But what if I'm developing a model and I want to share it like widely, publicly? Is that possible?
That is a great question. We do hear that demand from a lot of customers right now, but this is just a starting point. So we're starting from, hey, let's start from the organization and let's see what we can do from that point on. But there is an AWS Marketplace that also actually supports that exact concept.
Oh, interesting.
So there's an integration between SageMaker and Marketplace as well, so customers should definitely check that out as well.
Okay, great. Cool.
This is cool.
All right, now June, we had a couple questions from chat.
Okay.
One specifically not about JumpStart, but more around SageMaker in general. And there are a lot of environments to run machine learning workflows in, right? A lot of different. Can you tell us about some of the things about SageMaker that make it unique? Like why should I use SageMaker versus some other choices that I might have?
Yeah, I think the largest benefit that customers will get out of SageMaker is the fact that it is connected with every other AWS services. So if a customer is already using AWS, let's say S3, Redshift, anything like that, pulling those data into SageMaker is super easy.
Right.
We have our solution architects who are extremely familiar with those type of integrations, and we are really good at that. And we always try to make sure that whenever there's a new service, we try to make sure that there's a good integration amongst one another. So I think the ease of use is probably one of the best used reason.
That's great. Yeah, if you're already using AWS, it's great. Even if you're not using AWS, I think I've, personally, again, not going to misrepresent myself here in any way, not even close to a data engineer or ML practitioner, but I've gone and I've been able to navigate very easily through SageMaker Studio, for example, and it's already got all the things provisioned out for you that you need to do. So I like to go and run these tutorials and try and learn about machine learning, and part of the impediment to getting to that is getting an environment set up.
Yeah.
But SageMaker Studio already has it, right?
Yep.
Got my Jupyter notebooks, got commonly used libraries and pandas and algorithms that you need.
Yeah.
Python just can execute right in your Jupyter notebook.
Yeah, and even if you are not necessarily what we call high code customer who knows how to program, even if you're, let's say, a business analyst who don't know anything about the coding or who needs more of a UI guidance, we also have a product called Canvas, which is very much of a no-code solution that allows customers to do machine learning on tabular data sets without any coding. So I think that's actually another advantage. We actually have product line for every single type of persona.
Yes.
So you don't need to we don't need to necessarily force our customers to learn something because we have ones that are meant for a certain type of customers. So I think that's another advantage of using
I'll give you one more too before we have to wrap, but I think too that some of the other environments that I've looked at and I haven't seen as easily as I have here, or not at all, is deployment, right? Like, most ML practitioners, most data engineers are not DevOps people like me, and so getting your model to production is difficult.
Yep.
But SageMaker walks you through all that, creates API endpoints for you, makes it very easy to deploy a model. But June, we've got to go, unfortunately. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. JumpStart.
Thank you.
Incredible. Thank you for bringing this on.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Stick around. We'll be back with more from AWS On Air.